Hello again everyone and welcome back to my workshop. Today I have a piece of Bubinga. It's 6 inches across and 3 inches tall, and so the plan that I have for this is to turn a lidded trinket or jewellery box. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll mount it between centres so that I can bring it to round, and I'll turn a tenon on the end so that I can mount it in my scrolling jaw chuck. Now that I have it between centres, the first thing I'm going to do is form a tenon on this side so that I can turn it around, mount it in my scrolling jaw chuck and begin to work on what will be the bottom of the box. I now have the piece mounted in my scrolling jaw chuck. So what I'll do now is, this will be the base of the pot. I'll form a mortise and I'll start to shape and finish the foot, ready for it to be turned around, and then we'll part off what will be the lid after that. Okay, so I've cut in a few little detail lines here just to dress the foot up a bit. What I'll do now is start to bring the shape around the side just to give me a base to start sanding, and I'll apply some finish ready to turn this around, and then we'll part it in half and see about hollowing it out. As I've been turning this, I've noticed that there is a crack that has been running through the inside of this blank. I'm not sure how deep it goes, but I don't want to go too much deeper with the outside shape now, otherwise I'm going to be reducing the size of this piece quite a bit. So I'm ready to sand, so I'll put some CA glue into this to stabilise it, try and stop it from getting any worse, and hopefully it will hold together when it comes to hollowing it out. So I'll do that, and I'll sand, and I'll finish the base and half of round here ready to turn it around and then part off the lid. Okay, so I have a coat of friction polish on the bottom now. You can see a lovely glossy finish, and it's been reversed in the chuck. So what I'll do now is I'll start to shape the lid a little bit just so I can see what the finished shape will look like, and then I'll part it just around about here, just as this curve starts to come straight. I'll part it there, and this will round off to the lid as well. Turns out I did something wrong with the camera, and so I've lost all of the work that I spent taking what will be the lid off. But here you can see I have already a bit of a lip for what will go down into the opening of the bowl. So what I'll do first is I'll mount this in the chuck, and I'll clean up around the lip of the lid, and I'll hollow out a little bit on the inside, and give it a coat of oil and some sanding sealer and finish, just so it's got a nice finish on the inside, and then we'll start hollowing the inside of the pot. With the lid finished on the inside, we're now ready to hollow the main body of the pot, and it will be a process of trial and error in order to create an opening that's just the right fit for the inside lip of the lid, so that we have a nice friction fit. We don't want it to be too loose that it just falls off, but we don't want it to be too tight either, to the point where you can't get it on, or if once it's on you can't get it off. So I'll face this off to make it nice and smooth, and then I'll hollow out almost to the diameter of this inner measurement, and then it'll be a case of just trying it on until it fits nicely. Once we have that with a nice tight fit, then we can begin to do the actual hollowing. I have a good enough fit now with the lid, so I'm going to go now and finish hollowing out the rest of the inside. Then once I've hollowed this out, sanded and finished it, I'll be able to put this in with just a friction fit, and then true up the edge of the bowl with the lid and finish rounding it over, and then we're going to finish off by turning a finial to go on the top of the lid. have the inside hollowed out and finished, and you can see that there's a gorgeous gloss finish, almost a mirror finish. You can almost see myself reflected in it. It is a bit upsetting that in this black there was that crack on the outside that I showed you earlier. It has followed through into the inside here, so there is a bit of a blemish that I filled with glue and it's stabilised. I was a bit afraid that it was going to break apart as I was turning, but it survived. So the inside is finished, and we have our lid as well. It has a nice friction fit. So what we'll do now is I'll bring the tailstock up just to pin this together as I turn this down so that it meets, and then I'll shape the rest of the top. I'm going to use a bit of a tenon to prepare a base for a finial that will cap the top of it. So here we have the finished pot. I'm really happy with how it's come out. It's got beautiful grain and the finish turned out really well as well. This is the first lidded pot that I've ever done, so I'm pretty pleased with it. I usually struggle trying to get mortise and tenons to fit nicely, so I was worried about the lid, but you can see it's got a nice tight fit. It's not impossible to get off, but when it's on there, it stays on, which is what you want. It'll be easier to take off once it's got the finial on it. The wood I have for the finial is a piece of white oak that's an inch square, and it'll be 5 inches long from the top down to the chuck. I've never turned a finial before either, so this will be an experiment and we'll just see how it goes. finial parted off, we'll now put the lid in my remounting jaws so that I can bolt the mortise for the tent to go into, and then I can glue it up and this one is finished. We have a nice tight fit now with the finial into that mortise, so we'll put some glue on and we'll leave the glue to dry. Here we have the finished product. I'm very happy with how it's turned out for it being my first attempt at a lidded vessel. The lid fits really well. It's got just the right tightness for the fit. The lid comes off really well without it being too loose, and the wood is stunning as well. The grain and the depth of colour in it as well. Just throughout. It's a shame about the defects that was on the inside of the wood, but it hasn't affected the end product. So I've enjoyed doing this project and learned a lot from it. I hope you've enjoyed watching it too. If you have, please give me a like and leave me a comment below telling me what you think. And if you're a subscriber, thank you for your support. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so that you can see my past and my future projects. Thanks.